Your smartphone is about to become obsolete. Not in 10 years, not in 5. The company that brought you ChatGPT is quietly building the device that could make everything in your pocket right now feel ancient. And the most terrifying part, they're not building it to compete with Apple. They're building it to replace the entire idea of what a phone is supposed to do. Here's what's happening. OpenAI, the company already used by nearly 1 billion people every single week, is reportedly working on its own smartphone. Not a ChatGPT app for your iPhone, not a plugin for Android. Their own phone, their own chip, their own hardware, built from the ground up in collaboration with some of the biggest names in semiconductor manufacturing, MediaTek, Qualcomm, and Luxshare. This comes from Ming-Chi Kuo, one of the most respected and accurate hardware analysts in the world, the same person who has correctly predicted Apple product launches years in advance. When Kuo talks, the industry listens. But forget the hardware for a second, because the real story isn't about the phone itself. It's about what this phone would do differently. And this is where everything changes. Right now, every app on your phone exists inside a cage. Apple controls what apps can access. Google controls what they can see. The companies that build your favorite apps, your maps, your banking, your health tools, all of them have to ask permission. And often, that permission is denied. The result is a smartphone that's powerful on the surface, but quietly limited underneath. OpenAI's phone would tear that cage apart entirely. Instead of apps, imagine AI agents. Think of them as invisible assistants that live inside your phone and actually do things. Not just show you information, but act on it. Book the flight, send the email, reorganize your calendar, order the groceries, negotiate the refund. All without you tapping through menus or switching between apps. The agent just handles it continuously in the background, learning how you live. And because OpenAI would own the hardware, the chip, and the operating system, nobody can restrict what those agents can access. No gatekeepers, no permission screens, total integration, total context. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The phone would be designed to understand your context constantly, not just when you open an app, all the time. It watches, it learns, it anticipates. And every single thing it observes feeds back into OpenAI's understanding of how 1 billion humans actually live their lives. That data, the most intimate, detailed, continuous data set ever collected about human behavior, would be worth more than any subscription fee, more than any API deal, more than any enterprise contract. This is not just a phone. This is a data collection engine disguised as a convenience device, and you would hand it everything willingly because it would be genuinely, remarkably useful. Now, zoom out for a moment, because OpenAI isn't alone in seeing this future. The CEO of Nothing, a fast-rising smartphone brand, recently said at one of the world's biggest tech conferences that apps will simply disappear. Not evolve, not improve, disappear. Replaced entirely by AI agents that understand what you need before you ask. The founders of some of the hottest new AI coding tools are saying the same thing. The app era, they believe, is ending, and what comes next will be built around continuous AI that knows you deeply. OpenAI wants to be the company that owns that future, not on someone else's hardware, on their own. The timeline is coming into focus. Component suppliers and specifications are expected to be locked in by the end of this year or early 2027. Mass production could begin in 2028. And before any of that, OpenAI has already signaled it will announce its first hardware product in the second half of 2026, starting, reportedly, with AI-powered earbuds, a warm-up act for something far bigger. Think about what this means for Apple, for Google, for Samsung. These companies built empires on the idea that they control the platform, the operating system, the app store, the rules. OpenAI's phone doesn't play by those rules. It doesn't even acknowledge they exist. It's not trying to win the smartphone war. It's trying to make the smartphone war irrelevant. And here's the philosophical question that sits underneath all of this, quietly but uncomfortably. When your phone knows your context every moment of every day, when it anticipates your needs, manages your relationships, handles your finances, and learns your habits more intimately than any human ever could, at what point does it stop being a tool and start being something else entirely? Something you depend on not just for convenience, but for functioning in the world at all. The smartphone made you reachable everywhere. The AI phone would make you known everywhere by a system permanently. We accepted the first transformation without much debate. The second one is arriving faster than anyone expected. And this time, the stakes are a little higher because the company building this phone already knows what you think. Soon, they may know everything else too. What happens when the device in your pocket knows you better than you know yourself? That answer is closer than you think, and we'll be covering every step of it. This is AI Pulse. Don't miss what's coming next. Subscribe because the future isn't waiting.